What's up, guys? We are here today for another episode of Combustion RC. Today is a review video, which I know that you have all been waiting for. You're probably sick and tired of seeing kits being built. Well, I've got a couple reviews for you. The one today is pretty good. The one you're going to see next week blew my mind. So let's get into today's stuff. As you can see, it's still snowy outside. However, it is melting. It is like 45 degrees outside today, which is the first time we've seen the 40s in a very long time. So let's jump into today's project. Today we have something that we've already seen the competitor of, but we haven't seen this one. And I actually said in November we were going to see this one by Christmas time, and I completely forgot. So I apologize for that. So without further ado, the Enduro 24. This is from Element RC, which is a sister company to Team Associated, which if you don't know about Team Associated, where have you been? I mean, they've been around since like the 70s. They started this whole RC hobby thing that we like to do. Element's their crawler line. This is the 124 scale ready to run off-road Sendero trail truck. We don't have that color. We have that color. I actually like this color a lot. So let's get into the box. I will show you, I pulled a couple things out of the box already. So in the box with this vehicle, you do get this really cool little controller here. It is a 3-channel controller, which is kind of cool for a mini scale. I would say this is much better quality plastic than what comes in the Arma. Or I'm sorry, not the Arma. It's the Arma controller that comes in the Axial SCX24 base camp that we already reviewed. This comes in $10 cheaper than the base camp, actually. This is only $89.99. That is pretty cool. It does give you tall body posts for if you want to do the tall bodies and the USB charger, just like they usually do. You do have a little manual with the part numbers for this kit, the certificate of conformity, the safety information for LiPo batteries, because it does have a 1-cell LiPo, and then your little factory team and associated goodies thing of what all you can get from them. Most of the time, with the exception of this right here, that has our part numbers and stuff, trash can. Actually made all but one. Let's reload our controller, shall we? Right, as usual, Team Associated making an entrance in the world of ready-to-runs, as they usually do, with epic proportions. If you couldn't tell, the box, when you open it, is a scale garage, and it is actually a double thick plastic that is solid. It's not corrugated, so you can actually cut this apart, glue it together to make a scale garage. It even has oil slick on the floor. Look at that. Wear an oil slick. It's absolutely so cool that they do this, and I didn't even realize that they did this. I just thought that was a really cool feature when I opened the box. The truck itself, as you can see, it does have rock lights. And when you hit the gas to go forward, the throttle, I should say, there's no gas in this. The throttle to go forward, it does light up those rock lights. The only thing that I would say is a downfall of this compared to the SCX24 base camp. Body clips. These are very tiny body clips. I have a hard time hanging on to them because as a musician, I've got calluses all over the tips of my fingers, and it's very difficult to hang on to these small body clips, especially ones that aren't bent up without using pliers or something. You can get a hold of them, but they are, as you can see, quite tiny. So let's go ahead and take these off and take a look at the chassis underneath. The first thing that you'll notice, besides the body clips, is the fact that the body is actually a little bit thicker than the one that comes on the base camp. So it actually will hold up to more damage, which is surprising. Everything about this is surprising because it's $10 cheaper. The base camp, if you remember, has plastic links and drive shafts, just like this does. As you can see, it's plastic links and drive shafts. The one exception of that is the center shaft between the motor and transmission. Or should say between the transmission and the dig transmission. Not sure exactly the correct way of saying that, but that is actually steel. So they don't put plastic in there or run a direct drive. It's actually a lot of weight over the front axle with the servo and the motor over the front axle, so it crawls very well. Plus, these tires are way softer than the ones that come on the base camp, and the springs actually function as springs. They're just dampeners, so it is literally just a spring. It's not an actual shock, it's just a dampener. But everything about this is better than the SCX24. Has a little 520 milliamp one cell LiPo right here that mounts to the back and plugs directly into the ESC. It is a water resistant ESC, and I believe the servo is also water resistant. The only thing that I would say I kind of like on is because of the way this is designed. It doesn't have the flex like the axials do. It's pretty solid. And they use the little like aircraft servo horn on here. So if there is a way to put a metal servo horn on one that's this tiny, I would probably suggest doing so, or upgrading this to like a Savix Metal Gear servo with a little horn like that. Otherwise, I would try to figure out a way to put a servo saver on this so that you don't break that servo into pieces. So I just had a call interrupt if you're wondering why that abruptly stopped right there. So let's get into this a little bit further here, and let's look at the manual and see what they say here. They don't say much. It's just part numbers. I guess the only thing to do now, since I don't have a crawler course set up because, well, everything is being taken down, getting ready for the move. More of that to come in the next couple of weeks. Let's go ahead. Should we take it outside? I think let's take it outside. Let's see how it does in the snow and the ice. What do you think? Let's go. Unfortunately, it looks like most of my hill climb spots are getting to the point where it's too slushy for these little 1-inch tires. So let's see how it does at some ice climbing. All right, that is the SCX24. I am actually surprised at this little thing, to be quite honest with you. I would love to see it with the Trail Runner body, I think they call it, that looks like a 4Runner. I think that'd be awesome. It does come in that. I just got the Enduro because it's the pickup truck, and I don't have a pickup truck. I mean, it's just cool looking. It kind of looks like a mix between an old school Dodge and a Jeep Gladiator or something. So I kind of like it. Anyway, and with Chevy taillights. So I was really impressed by this little thing. The tires are soft enough that they actually did well in the snow, even though, as you can see, that tread pattern should not have gotten any traction, especially in melting snow where it's just like soupy, sloppy slush. I mean, you saw how far my feet sunk into it when I went to get this thing. So it's pretty awesome. It does get some fender grab just like the SCX24 did, but not near as much. And it doesn't seem to affect it because these tires are so soft, they just kind of roll on it. Whereas the SCX24, the tires were stiffer. And so they actually grabbed the fender wells and didn't allow it to go. The back ones, the flares go out far enough that the rears don't actually grab the body at all. It's only the fronts, and it's only a full steering lock that they grab. And it's just the very edge, which as you can see, it just rolls right over it. So it doesn't even affect the driving of this. So you don't have to do any trimming or anything. The bumper doesn't come out to touch the tires. They did a really good job on this. I'm actually super surprised that these are only 90 bucks because the SCX24 is 100 for the base camp and 130 or 150 depending on if you get like the Jeep body, which I think the Jeep Rubicon's like 150 bucks for the same thing. It's just a Jeep Rubicon body because you got to pay for the licensing, which is kind of ridiculous. But if for a 24 scale crawler, especially for 90 bucks, this is way better than the SCX24. This is when you get to have unbiased me. Yes, I like Team Associated. Yes, I think their stuff is usually made really well. But unlike most guys that you kind of see on YouTube, I'm not getting stuff given to me. I'm buying this with my own money. So I'm going to tell you exactly how I feel about it. So I like this. This is up there on the tops of the list for me. It is built well, it's nice, and all it takes to kind of work on it, if you look there, it's a little bitty Phillips. So almost everything on here that I've seen so far is just a little bitty Phillips, so it doesn't take anything special. So if this is your first RC car, most people have an eyeglass repair case or something laying around that has a small Phillips in it. So this is great for that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I can really tell you about it. There's not really all that much. It is actual locking diffs. As you can see, I turn one wheel and it turns all four. There's no open spools. It's a good little truck. I still have to take the stickers off of it because it still has, you know, like the quality check stickers and stuff on it. But I like this little truck. I really do. This is one I'm going to keep. The SCX24, it's already gone because whatever. I'm impressed. I like the little battery tray back here that's just a bungee that holds it on so you don't have to like try to fight anything or anything like that. And good rig. 90 bucks, pick it up at your local Hobby Town or A-Main or whatever your local hobby shop is. If it's not one of the big corporate ones yet, awesome. Even more reason to purchase from them because that means mom and pop are owning it and they're trying to get stuff and buy from them, okay? Even if it's 100 bucks instead of 90, buy from mom and pop shops. Support your small businesses. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. So since today's video is kind of short, let's do a bonus review right here of my newest edition. If you'd like to see a build video on this, since it comes literally in a bag full of stuff, I can do so. They're not hard. I'll probably end up getting another one here in a couple of months anyway. But if you would like to see this, that's awesome. I'm going to show you the Protek RC hauler bag. If you've never had a hauler bag, this is by far the best one. I have had multiple different ones from just about every company out there. The only exception to this being the best one would be the OGO bags, but they are like $350. The Protek hauler bag you cannot put on an airplane. The OGO bag is check bag size, and it is within the weight limit for a check bag. So that is one thing that you might want to take a look at if you are traveling, planning on flying to different tracks to race. Don't really look at the Protek hauler bag unless you're planning on driving there. You're going to need the OGO bag if you're going to be getting on an airplane and need to have a check bag. So just keep that in mind. The OGO bags do get on the airplanes. They are TSA approved. It's a good thing to remember. They're a metal skid plate on the bottom, or metal reinforced skid plate. They're just really expensive and they're not as organized. That's why I don't like them. Plus, I prefer driving everywhere. I'm not a big fan of flying, and I enjoy the scenery of driving. So without further ado, let's flip you around and take a look at the Protek hauler bag. So this is the Protek hauler bag. As you can see, there is two pouches on this side. There's a big panel on the front. There's a top. There is a instruction manual slot over here, which is perfect size for instruction manuals. And on the back of the bag, there's another huge pouch, which is the perfect size for a pit board. I believe it fits the large Cow RC size or even the J Concepts pit mat. The great thing about this bag, though, is if you have a 10 scale car, it will fit inside, as well as a 8 scale buggy. If you have a short course truck or a truggy, they do not fit inside. So what are you going to do about it? Well, here's what's great. Set it on there, on this nice reinforced panel here. Most of the time, as we know, we don't put our tires on, we just store them without so that it doesn't wear the shocks out. But this goes up over top, clips in over here, and there you go. Now it's nice and safe and secure. It literally won't come off. So that is a really nice thing. Plus you can lock that front bumper in there if you want to. And then my most favorite part about this is the handle. It's locked in right now. You can pull it out to 1 or 2. For my height, I'm 5'8". I actually like it to be right here because that's like the perfect tilt for me. If you're taller, you do need it out here, and it is ergonomically curved so that it has the proper tilt when you pick it up, and it is on nice rollerblade wheels. The really nice thing about it being out the side and at the back is you can make it through any and every single doorway you're going to come across. Let's take a look at what's inside. You pull up the flap like so. You're going to go ahead and unzip the top and then flip it back. You have a perfectly aligned tool tray, a nice tray back here for your big tools or your extra tools that you already have duplicates of in here. And this one at the end is smaller, so I usually put my X-Acto in there just because it's easier for it to not fall out anywhere. And of course, you always got to have the hand cream in there because stuff makes your hands crack. So the bottom is Velcro across the bottom. You see the bottom in here? No, you can't. Let's tilt you down a little more. Right there. So the bottom has Velcro straps over the zippers, and it also Velcros across the bottom. So you're going to undo the Velcro straps. Go ahead and pop that Velcro. Roll the zippers up. And then grab it at the Velcro. Tuck these around the corner like so. And you're going to roll it. And the reason you're going to roll it is this. They actually took in mind that you're going to be using this in a pit space. And they put Velcro on the inside top of here and on here. So you can literally tuck your front panel up. It's one of the greatest things I've ever seen. The only thing that I would say is kind of a nuisance is there is these elastics on the bottom. You do need to work at it to get it to loosen up in order to get that to where those drawers pull out easily. But you can have your tools in here, your extra electronics, wires and whatnot, charging station, drivers. You can have parts in here if you get the parts trays. The new J Concepts parts trays fit in here very nicely because they're not long like your Harbor Freight ones. And then also, if you didn't know this about the new J Concepts pit trays, the dividers actually screw in from the bottom so that you don't get all your hardware all mixed up. So in here, I've got my soldering station and everything. And then there's this big drawer at the top. Now you may be thinking, how is that supposed to fit an 8-scale buggy? It really does. I have an 8-scale buggy right now. So I use my street stock. This is based on a 10-scale buggy platform with the street stock tires. And then this big body from J Concepts that is the 1987 Monte Carlo body. It's a little bit bigger than your typical street stock body. It's 1 inch wider as it's meant to fit over all the chassis. But if you look here, it actually fits in. It sits right in there. And you can close the drawer. So you can have a buggy inside and a truck on top. Or if you're one of those people who takes your bodies off and tucks them in a drawer, you could actually fit multiple cars in because of your open chassis. I've actually been able to fit a 2-wheel drive and a 4-wheel drive buggy in here, as well as an 8-scale buggy, just kind of like on top of each other. And then I put the bodies in a separate drawer. And then I put my short course truck on top. So it can be done. You can fit stadium trucks in here. You can fit all kinds of stuff. But these are phenomenal bags. They hold up. My last one I had for about 4 years, and it works just like the day I got it. This is just a quick review on this. This thing is, if I had to give it a rating, I'd say 5 out of 5 stars. Well, 4.9 out of 5 stars. I wish it was 1 inch longer so you could fit a short course inside. Aside from that, I give it a 5 out of 5. That's the only downfall I can find to this bag is that it should be 1 inch longer. So if that's the only thing that I have a complaint about, there's not much to complain about. So anyway, Protek RC Hauler Bag. Pick yours up. That's a review of this here as your quick little additional bonus on this short video. As always, and say in all of our videos, make sure you keep the rubber side down, the shiny side up, and remember to stay in the groove. Don't end up like this.